Hello everyone, this is Nathalie and I am back with another recommendation from me to you about my top 3 young adult fantasy, maybe slash sci-fi. So if you want to know which one you should read, keep watching. The first one will be The Chronicle of the Dark Star by Kevin Emerson. You have the first one, Last Day on Mars, the second, The Oceans Between the Stars. We are in the future. Humankind had discovered that the sun is gonna become a supernova way too soon. So Earth is gonna disappear like pretty much everything else in this solar system. They decide that they have to leave the solar system, take refuge onto another planet. But for that, first they can't stay anymore on Earth. They are going onto Mars. They start to live temporarily there until they are finished building starships, vessels to allow everyone, to leave the solar system and go reach for a very far away another planet. This is the last day, so it's pretty much 24 hours. We are following 2 different characters. I think they are 13 years old. So for me, it's more teen than young adults, but this is a different topic. They wait for their very own and personal parents. They are scientists and they are working on the project to allow the terraforming of the new planet to work. So many catastrophic things, drama will happen during those last few hours. This is so much suspenseful and fast-paced, and that is, it's taking you away. With the second, they are trying to reach the last vessels. They have a vessel for that, but it is not really equipped for such a long distance travel. And they have on board the 4 parents, but they put them in cryogenic. Well, they put them on sleep. They have been kind of severely hurt on Mars when it was the last day in the first installments, and they don't have any medical equipment to help them. Beside the fact that the writing is so good and this is fast-paced, well, especially with Last Day on Mars, Kevin Emerson is taking a very serious topic. We discover, if you want, the origin of the character of the girl Phoebe. What you discover behind her, her family and everything else, you ending up facing mainly 2 different perspectives of life. They are not the only one species existing in this story. How do they think of surviving the cost? Well, but at some points they are kind of both facing extinction. When I got into the first one, Last Day on Mars, like I said, it is so fast-paced and you have so many and so much adventures that they have to survive and to make it out of Mars. And this is really thrilling, really thrilling. When I went into the ocean between stars, I really didn't expect going into such a serious topic, but it is still part of action-packed, still part of fast-paced story. It's not just fantasy, I'm just spending some time reading something. It is the case, but it is make you think way more about humankind, about survival, about the cost, or what does it cost for humankind on this planet, for the survival, and what does that mean for humankind on this planet when they say that they want to conquer space, that they want to explore space. Again, at what cost against other planets or against other species? This is really something that you have to read and to discover. The second series that I'm gonna talk about, and I just got the first one here with me, this is Omega City by Peterfreund. We follow a group of I would say, again, teens, but apparently this is young adults. The Dr. Underbergs has a diary, and he is talking about an underground city, Omega City, more like a bunker created in case of another world on the planet for any survivors. We are following those teens who are thinking that they have found the exact location of Omega City, and they're gonna go there and, well, kind of cover makes you guess that they're gonna find it. You have a bunch of adventures, and this is so good, fast-paced, the writing is so well, I loved it. With the second one, and I really should have thought about the name of the second one. They are invited to talk about their experience that they had in Omega City. Things hasn't settled down at the end of the first one. Those kids who found the bunker, they are still facing threats into the second one. They are facing some people who take more serious matter into the climate change, into the survival of the species on this planet. At some point, they are thinking that living in space could be not necessarily the only outcome, but one of them. So it's the journey of what it takes for those villains to create that. And it's always the case for every group having good intentions but using bad way of making a point. It is about survival at what cost, messing voluntarily with Earth and with the climate change just to make others realize and take actions. It's insane the way that you're gonna experiment into finding things that gonna work. And we have the use of animals to test, to know if humans can make the travel, if they can make the trip, if they can survive in space, survive at cryogenic. The seriousness that those kids face, how they do react about that, I really do love, and I can't wait to read the last installment. The last third series for you to read, because this is my recommendation, and it will be the Firebird series by Claudia Gray. Okay, so this is the this is the second installment. The main story, the major one, is Margaret Kane, young adult, I think this time. She is trying to catch Paul, one of the students of her parents' scientist. They had invented the Firebird, which is a tool, an accessory if you want, but to travel throughout different dimensions, different universe. Apparently Paul killed her father, and out of revenge she is going after him to catch him, or eventually to kill him, and to get back the Firebird that he stole. In 10,000 Skies Above You, it's more at first the love story between her and Paul, because his soul has been shattered in 4 different pieces and spread in 4 different worlds, and she doesn't have a choice. Well, it's not that she doesn't have a choice to get the different soul. She wants, obviously, to get him back, but because it's the main villain of the story who did that and kind of forced her, in order to get the coordinates of where to find the next piece of soul, to destroy the technology of the Firebirds in the other planet-specific world. You can think that this is only just love story and this is just a fantasy with the different dimensions, but you're gonna discover that this is way more. You usually have 1 or 2 worlds more detailed how it's working. So why I do recommend that series, it's because you realize what happened after grief, when you lose someone that you love, when you have some technology at your disposal and one of your kid is dying, and that you are totally blind by the loss, by the pain, that you are ready to do anything to get that kid back, including destroying other lives other worlds. This isn't something any original, facing a character who has to deal with the loss of a loved one. How far are you willing to go for the love of someone? Not necessarily to bring that someone's back. That was really a surprise. I really didn't expect that we are going or taking that direction with the story. It is already so good. I really can't wait to see with the last one. This is such a good one that I really do think that you should read that, and I'm very surprised that nobody really talk about that. So those are the top three series, sci-fi fantasy series that young adult that I think you should read and you should discover. Thank you very much for subscribing and give me some thumbs up before you are going. Until the next time, have some lovely reading into a series of young adult and some excitement.